Hello and welcome to Sam. My name is Ben and welcome to a sort of tutorial on how I created the thumbnail you're seeing on the screen right now. Now, I go through all the steps in which I take to create my thumbnails on a pretty much weekly to daily basis. So yeah, this is exactly how I create my own thumbnails. They are personal to me, and I would strongly encourage you to take inspiration from this video, but just don't copy it straight up, because otherwise on YouTube what you need to do is create something that is original and something which is different and something that will make you stand out, and directly copying someone's thumbnails isn't going to get there. So by all means take inspiration from this video, however just be mindful about whether or not you're being original or not. So today I'm going to be creating a thumbnail for my final episode of the MHC for May. So it's going to be episode 9 and it's called The Rushing Push. So essentially what is happening in the episode is I am running about all over the place trying to complete an objective by the end of a whole Minecraft day, and I set myself a huge task. So I want to replicate that in my actual thumbnail, because it's always important to have your key factors, I guess, on your thumbnail. You know, you need people to know what is going to be in the episode before they even click on it. So to start things off, we'll be creating a 1920 by 1080 thumbnail size. So the reason behind this is because if ever I want to put a thumbnail in the video, I always upload at 920 by 1080, and so it's always good to have a good sized image so you don't have to stretch it. Also for resolution, I just tend to like whack it up to, is that 30,000? Yeah. No real reason. It's just I like the look of like the resolution. I really want it to be quite like sort of pitch perfect sort of thing. So we've got this now. What we'll want to begin with is a nice background. Now what you can do is you can either go online and find some sort of pre-existing Minecraft wallpaper thing, or you can go into game and create your own. So what I was intending to do is do a print screen of my little house in MHC. However, I seem to have deleted the world. So yeah, so I've just jumped into a new seed and I found this little like 2 archways type thing, and I think this could make a nice sort of Minecraft background. You can obviously tell that it's Minecraft, and that is what you want. You really want, like, you don't really want anything that's too out there, too outlandish for a background, because this is going to be blurred out, and you just want something that lets people know that it is a Minecraft video, however it isn't too over the top. So natural Minecraft landscapes look really good as a background, and if you can use shaders, then I would recommend using that. But for the purpose of this thumbnail, I'm just going to quickly print screen it right here. There we are. And we'll leave here and we'll just copy and paste it straight in. I'm actually using 2 monitors here, so we'll do that. There we are. And then you've got a perfect 1080p background there, so it's exactly the same. So you can do this with any game, not whatsoever. I'm just making it from Minecraft. You can use pre-existing thumbnails, well, not thumbnails, but pre-existing images. So if the so say you're doing League of Legends, you can put an image of say one of the champs behind one of the splash arts. You can do whatever you want for a background, right? Because this is, like I said, the background. And what you're going to want to do is go on to effects, blurs, and go along and down one to Gaussian blur, I don't know what it's called. But what you want to do once you're on here is type in 7 into the radius and click OK. So this gives you a nice blurred effect on the background. It also like sort of keeps some of the structure of the block, so it's not like way out there. So like if you just, I don't know, you just whacked it all the way up to like 102, you can't make that out, can you? Whereas at 7 you can still make out that it's on Minecraft, but it's not going to take away from the main focal point of your picture. So the main focus of my picture is going to be my Minecraft character. So if you go onto Google, type in Nova Skin and go on here, first link should hopefully load up with my guy. So this is my character. He's looking really good. I really like it. So what I normally do is I just go into pose and I go on random pose, because this is where you get some of the best sort of generated sort of positions, I guess. The reason why I do this rather than make my own is because I get confused really easy, and you know, if you just keep clicking random pose, you'll eventually come to one which you think is absolutely fantastic. I mean, look at that. You don't get much better than that. However, it doesn't really represent the rushing push as much. That, however, it's a bit too, his head's a bit too off to the side, whereas that is absolutely perfect. So now that you've got your character all in position, you'll want to take a photo of him and paste it onto this part here, like this sort of quarter, I guess, like along here. You'll want to place your character there. So what I do, you're very welcome to do whatever you fancy with this. It's completely how I make my thumbnails. What I choose to do is I choose to zoom in a lot there. So don't worry about this translucent black bit here, because when you take a photo, so like say you take a photo with him here, like there we are, you'll get all of that body, and it's quite slow. Quite small, that's what I mean. Whereas if you zoom in a bit like that, making sure that you keep all the relevant parts in, such as his head, and I really like being able to see that part of his leg. So what you want to do now you want position it like that. So keep his body just above this line here with all the links and stuff on, and don't worry about this translucent bit. So now that you've got this in sort of position on your Nova skin, what you want to do is you want to make sure you don't have this grid round, because obviously this is the grid where you can start drawing and all that sort of stuff. So you won't want any of that, and you'll just go off to the side and click photo. Here you'll get your pose, and he's a lot more, he seems a lot closer than what he was before, and that's good, because when we copy and paste him in here, see he's almost perfect in position. So let's just reposition him a bit bigger, I think. Always hold shift and always reposition from the corners. So press shift and do it like that, because then it always keeps the aspect ratio. If you let go of shift, you don't really want anything like that, do you? So if we create him like that, it's a bit bigger than what I normally do. There we are. I think that's looking good. So then you can still see that he's here, and he's still in his perfect little running position. And there we are. That looks like it works and it looks good. So we'll leave him there for the minute. Okay, so next what we'll want to be doing is we'll want to be putting on some branding. Now, branding is very important in thumbnails, as it's what will draw people into your channel, and it'll be what people recognize, and if they see your videos again, they'll think, oh, hang on, that guy made such and such video, that guy made such and such video. So what I choose to do is I choose to put my logo in a circle here with a bar going across, and as for the MHC, I've created my own MHC logo. It's not the official one. It doesn't actually have an official one, but I sort of created it just so people can distinguish between it and people know which one's which. So if we just drag this in here, and then you want to go and add layer, even though we've got this bit here, we'll just delete that layer. So this is the logo that I made for myself, and as you can see, it is black. Now the black doesn't really stand out very well in this environment, so what you want to do is go into adjustments and invert the colours. So now it stands out a lot more against the white and against the green of the trees and the blue of the sky. And what I tend to do is I tend to put it up in the top left hand corner, and then just zoom it in, scale it down a bit there, sorry. There we are, make it more noticeable. And there we are. So that is the branding of the actual video done. Now we want to brand the channel. Now this is where it gets a bit fiddly. And this took me a little while to get perfect, because I'm a real perfectionist, I really am. And what I choose to do is, if you go and get the rectangle key here, and I can't remember which exact colour it was, but we'll use this colour because it's close enough. Or I can actually open up a previous. So this is one of the ones which I previously used. So you see here I've got the character right there, I've got the logo right here, and I've got the banner along there. So what I'll do is I'll just take the colours from this. You can choose your own colours, and let me just go down. Right, so make, there is the background, and up one, there two, and then swap the colours around. There we are. Okay, cool. So what we want to do is create a box along here that is big enough to be able to be seen. So let me just, oh hang on, I need to make a new layer in between every single thing, so otherwise it takes absolutely ages. Right, there we are. Fill that in, and in this bar here you'll be wanting to put whatever your video is about. So you'll have, it's usually 3 keywords I would put in a thumbnail, because otherwise it gets a bit messy and looks a bit yeah, it just generally looks a bit hectic and a bit messy. So position that so you're happy with it. I'm going to move my guy, I'm going to make my guy a little bigger. Always, also with paint.net, I don't know if you noticed this, so if I just move, say, this up here like that, and then I click onto another layer, you see this box that surrounds it here? That is where you're going to edit. So if I click on like the pumpkin guy here and move it along, he gets cut off from his legs, like, ah. So what you want to do is always just get on the rectangle select and just click on the outside, because then it'll always cancel whatever you have going on, and it selects the main 1080p of your thumbnail. So we've got this now. You don't need to worry about actually stretching this out with it being just a standard actual block of colour, because you can't really stretch colour, can you? At least I hope you can't, because otherwise that'll be some really weird stuff. This, I'm gonna have to redo this a bit more, make him a bit. There we are, because I found that I wasn't being able to get the whole sort of feel that I wanted in it. So if we reposition, like, I'm trying to get it. So the bar, I think I might have to make the bar a bit smaller, because otherwise it's that bend in his arm there that we really need. I think that'll be alright. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, let's just stretch this back along here. There we go. Cool. So we've got the rectangle banner bar here, and we are happy with that colour. So what you want to do next, this is how I do it. I create a circle, like so, a white circle, and I do it on a new layer, however, and we'll make it a bit bigger as well. There you go, 12 is looking good. And let's just reposition it so it's right in the middle, like this. So you want the middle, an even section on both sides of the circle, where it's not in the banner. So if I just zoom in a bit here, move that up to here. That's looking about in the middle of both sections. There we are. Could probably make it a tad bigger. There we are. I think that looks good. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Now that we've got that done, we can fill it in like that, and I will drag my logo in. So there it is. So I've created this before in Cinema 4D. If you'd like to see how I created it, let me know in the comments, and I'll do a tutorial on that. And all I do here is just drag it in like this. I try and make it fill up as much of the circle as possible. There we go. So that is looking pretty good. It's not the exact same as... Actually no, it's looking... The circle actually is a bit bigger on this one. But all in all, I think that's quite a good redo. Because what I tend to do is I tend to just have save this bar with the circle CNG and the banner along like this, and I save it as a template. I don't know if I've got it as a recent. No, I don't. But yeah, that's what I do, so I don't have to keep recreating it every single time. And I think, well, yeah, that's it. That's the banner done now. Okay, you can leave that. Next is the most important bit. This is the actual description of your channel, and well, description of your video through your thumbnail. So my title of this video is called The Rushing Push, and that is it's a catchy name, but it's way too long for a thumbnail. And so what you'll want to do is pick out some key words that represent your title, represent the video, but are also short enough to be short and snappy enough, should I say, to look good on your channel. So I'm going to call this the Big Push. There we are. Or maybe Big Rush. Big Push sounds a bit better. So I just create it small here, center it, and then choose my font and choose my size. I usually go for 216 because that usually fills up this bar perfect. The reason why I centered it as well was because, say if it was like that on the left line left, you'll get part of it being cut off like this, and once you go to move it, you get like part of the exclamation mark there. Whereas if you center it, right, I'll have to retype it. But if you center it, it'll never, well, it should never go off. So there you see it's gone off the screen right there. Maybe I should just, there we are. It's gone off the screen there. If you go to the align in the center, it is perfectly in the middle, and you can do with it what you want. So let's move that back to white and drag this into the bar here. So already, when you look at it, it looks like you can see here what it is. So the Minecraft Hardcore Challenge, you can see here who makes it, and then you can see along here what it's going to entail in the video. The actual use of the sort of mascot, I guess, gives your channel some identity, as well as the CNG here, and it also makes it look good. And you can obviously tell that it's in Minecraft, and if you have a good skin, use it. I love my skin. I've never seen anyone with one like this, and the only person that I know with a coat like mine is Murph from Dan and Murph Plays. and we all know that he's my apprentice inside, deep inside. He didn't mean to be my apprentice, but he is. And yeah, so it looks good. I'm pleased with this so far, but we need to do a final few bits and bobs. So what I like to do is outline my words here. Now, normally when you're outlining words, there is, I think there's a option to outline. There is somewhere, however I choose not to outline them using that, because when I first started I didn't know where it is. I still don't know where the outline is. However, I learned a different way, and that is where you click on the layer with your text on, so here, and then you go into this layers section and you click the third one from the left, which is duplicate layer. So if you duplicate that, oh, I've just duplicated the wrong one. There we are. So you see here I have two of the same layer, and at the same time they look no different. However, if you go onto the lower layer, because this layer is actually behind this top layer here, so if I were to, actually that's not going to work. So yeah, go on the bottom layer and then go on to adjustments and invert colors. Okay, so now this changes it to a black text. Alright, then if you click back onto the black text here, go into effects, and you'll remember we used the ghost and blur to blur out the background with the 7. If you go and repeat ghost and blur, that will apply it to this. So you see it's a bit more blurred out and stuff. And what you then do is you click back onto the black layer and you duplicate it multiple times. And this makes it messy, I guess, in your layers bar. And sometimes if you, like me, and you don't have either much RAM or quite a slow CPU, it will sort of flag out and you've got to wait for it to catch up. But there we are, you've got perfect outlines around all of your words. It makes it stand out a lot more, and if you want to condense it all, go onto the next one to the right after duplicate layer and just merge all the layers down. Like I said, just be careful that you don't merge them down all the way onto your other layers, like your background and your logo and all that sort of stuff. So if you just keep merging this down, you will get a lot of layers, and there we are. So now that's all one layer. We could probably make it a little bigger to fill up that bar. Oh, that's a CG. There we are. So that is how I outline my text. The last thing to do on a thumbnail, obviously, is to put in your number on a different layer. I keep doing this. So keep this episode 9, and you'll always want to put this on your episodes, on your thumbnail, sorry, because then if someone's new to the channel and wants to quickly find a video of a previous time, or say you haven't made playlists yet but you still want people to know which one comes in order, just put the number on. It's pretty simple. Do exactly the same as we did for the actual title. So there we are. I've inverted the colours, repeat the ghost and blur, and there we are. Mash that a bit, and you get a perfect outline again. So I actually did that to create this MHC logo, and I've done it a lot on my channel. So this is exactly how I create my thumbnails for the channel. I'll show you what I do to ensure that I get the same sort of style of thumbnail every single time. I touched on it shortly before. So what I normally do is I normally just get rid of all of this. So there we are. I save this as a PDN, So here is this is all my thumbnails I have in here. Save it as a PDN. There is the template for the loser series. There is the template for just the standard generic template. And what I do is I just save this, and then whenever I create a new video, so say I want to create one where I showcase the Silent Gaming name. There we are. So I can quickly just drag that in and reposition it and then make a thumbnail out of it like that. So it's always easy to make templates, so you never have to redo these templates or these thumbnails over and over again, if you know what I mean. It does save you a lot of time, especially when they're quite fiddly sometimes like this. And yeah, so let's just get everything back on. And one thing I would like to suggest not doing, I can't remember if I mentioned it when I was making an actual background, but you won't want to use a really generic background. So, I don't know, say you want, yeah, you don't want to have something like that where it's just a boring background or anything like that. You can use a gradient like this. I do use that for my actual channel logo. However, for thumbnails, what you'll want is something that is not generic. You'll want something, like this, where it's got something going on in the background. Or if you are dead set adamant on using a gradient, I can quickly show you actually. If you go on, I don't know, just say textures. So if we use this one, here we are. So if you just copy this onto here and place it below the gradient image, and then just paste it in. We'll stretch it out just because this is tutorial. There we are. And you'll see that you can't actually see it even though it's below, because it's below the gradient. However, if you double click on this and go onto opacity or opacity or whatever, and then bring the opacity down a bit, you can see that you get to keep the actual gradient. However, you get the texture through as well. So if you look here, there's the actual texture, and then you get the gradient here, and if you did that, you just have an opaque background like that. So that's another thing that you could do. However, for Minecraft videos, I just choose to have a nice Minecraft landscape in the background, and that is it. The next thing that you have to do is obviously just save it. I normally save it as a PDN file first, and then I go on to save it as a PNG. If you can't save it as a PNG, then save it as a JPEG, because sometimes when you're on Paint.net or any photo editing software, sometimes if you have so many things going on, a PNG will just be too big because YouTube has a 2 MB limit on its thumbnails, and you will want to make it smaller by converting it to a JPEG. So I've been talking now continuously for about half an hour. I hope that you found this episode interesting. I hope that you found this tutorial helpful, and I hope that you have picked up some tips, even if it's just the odd one or two. Let me know what you think. Obviously you are free to use your own designs, and I would encourage you to use your own designs, because if everyone copied the same sort of thumbnail as everyone else, then YouTube would be a very boring place and your videos just wouldn't stand out. So I would strongly encourage you to create your own design. Like, I create this design myself, and if a design gets washed out by the masses, then your video will have no effect whatsoever. So find a different kind of niche, I guess, of thumbnail creation, like by all means, you're very welcome to use this, and you are very welcome to adapt this to whatever you want. So maybe you want the bar to be going like vertical, something like that. You're very welcome to do that. However, just be mindful that if you create the same sort of thumbnails as everyone else, you will not stand out. And standing out on YouTube is the only way for you to grow your channel. And I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers right now, and that is one of the things that I've learned. I've been on YouTube for almost 2 years right now, and my thumbnails have been progressing and progressing, and I feel like I finally reached where I want to be with thumbnails. And of course, I've still got a lot of way to go. I would like to sort of change this out a bit, get some cartoons going, all that sort of stuff. But for the moment, where I am in the channel, this is perfect for what I want. So yes, please do leave a like if you found this tutorial helpful or interesting, or both. Leave comments down below if you have created your own style of thumbnail based on this. I would really like to see what you guys have made, because I really do enjoy looking at what the community does. Like, I've made a few community videos right now, and it's always nice to see people and appreciating them, like, mostly, and also creating their own kind of spins on things. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, because I will be making a lot more videos like this and tutorial wise, possibly using some more Cinema 4D kind of stuff. But otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you later. Thank you and goodbye.